Okay, ladies, so as requested, this is the part 2 of what all women should know about men. If you haven't watched part 1, it's down in the description box, and we're just gonna go right at it. Rule number 16: create a friendship before jumping straight into sex, relationships, marriage, and love. I feel like this is the advice we've all received from like the older generation, and there's definitely something behind it. When you and a man are going out on a date and the purpose is to be in a relationship, marriage, and so on, you're not going to really know who he is because he's only going to show you the good side. He knows what things he should tell you and what things he should hide from you because the motive is to be serious. But if, on the other hand, you two started off as friends, there's no motive behind it, therefore he's a lot more open. He's going to start telling you what he thinks, what he believes in. You're going to be able to know like what he's doing with other women, what he thinks of other women, what he likes, so on and so forth. But this is also a problem, which I'm going to talk about in the next slide. This is the next slide, which is don't be friends with your exes and don't settle for a man that has female friends or basically is friends with his exes. Now, this is the issue because in the first slide I said be his female friend. Now, in this one you hear don't trust a man that has female friends. This one is an iffy situation that I can't really explain because the thing is when men find you enough like physically attractive, you know what I mean, and they can view you sexually, they're gonna want to sleep with you. You can open that door up just a bit, just a crack, and tell them, hey, you want to sleep with me, and he'll just break the door open. I strongly don't believe that men and women can be friends. I know that there's other people with different opinions, but for me, every single guy I've been with who had female friends was like the biggest red flag to me. Like there was constantly things that they were hiding. Low-key, either those females didn't want him, but he wanted them, so he's waiting for a chance, or he's just keeping them around so that whenever the girl, breaks his heart or leaves him, he has something on the side. Same thing with exes. It's just weird to me to have your past lovers as your friends still because it's like, well, if you were with them before, why wouldn't you get back with them again? You know what I mean? It's very rare that it actually works out. But in general, like this situation of being with a guy who's friends with his exes or has female friends makes me uncomfortable. Simply because I already know how these men run and I've been friends with them. Like I don't have one guy in my life who's just friends with me and wouldn't sleep with me. And I actually have a really great example where I'm going to become like a big hypocrite in this situation, but I have an ex that I've kept around for a while because I benefit from it and I have my reasons, but I do not sleep with him. And now I remember that he was already seeing somebody and when I came back into his life and he basically didn't even tell his current girl that I was actually an ex because he knew she wouldn't be okay with it. And eventually he ended up leaving her because he wanted to be with me. Now, I still don't want him and I still benefit from this guy. And that's unfortunately why I keep him around. I know I'm a hypocrite, but that's what I want to say is that I just don't trust it because first off, I see what other men are willing to do when I come into their life and how they're willing to just let go of that other girl. And I was friends with guys. Like I see these things. I'm telling you, if you look good, he'll sleep with you. Like it doesn't matter. It doesn't work. If you're with a guy, he has female friends, he has exes, girl, I promise you, listen to me or just learn it the hard way. Because in my opinion, and I don't feel like I need to explain to you what friendship means or what a friend does, but if you want to see me naked and you want to sleep with me, that's not friendship. So, yeah. Rule number 18 is do not date a man beyond a year because it doesn't take that long for him to know if he wants to marry you. I strongly agree with this one. And I constantly tell you guys it takes 4 months for you to fully know a person because people can't keep up a fake act after 4 months. And really, within a first or second month, you're going to be able to tell who a person really is because people don't take that long. Like, you have to be a sociopath to be able to keep up for 4 months. Next, honestly, men take maybe like 6 months to know if they want to marry you. But even if the answer is yes, let's pretend he actually does want to marry you. Marriage conversation is a complicated one because men just choose the women that are there when they're ready to be married. It really depends on where he is in life, how old he is, how is he financially, maturity wise too. Like if you see that he has all of these things and he's still not choosing you, then girl, he's just dragging you along. Like, it seems to me like he's looking if he can still find something better than you. Rule number 19 is date men who are looking to get married and date multiple men at the same time without having sex with them. Now look, it all depends on what you're looking for, because you might not be looking for marriage, so this won't really relate to you. But I strongly suggest opening up your options and making sure that you're going for men that are ready for marriage, basically. Don't let your boyfriend keep you from finding your husband. And yes, you should avoid sex as much as possible. You can have sex with them, but like, if you do, at least make sure that you know full well that you're number one in his life, and that he comes with good intentions and can provide whatever it is that you want. I honestly, what I will say as well is that I know that a lot of women teach to basically only go for providers and only date providers and men who are fully there. And I'm going to speak for the girls who are younger. So if you're like in your 20s and so on, we're talking like early 20s, that is what you should be going for. You should be only marrying a guy who can fully give you whatever it is that you want. But if you're still young, I wouldn't say to just simply sit there and just keep waiting or keep looking and only go out on those dates. I think you can still gain a lot of experience and gain a lot of fun and enjoy life by going with guys who maybe don't have it 100%. Like, don't take those guys seriously, of course, because I know that a lot of you are still dating guys who maybe live, like, you're in your early 20s, let's say you're 21, and you're still dating a guy who's maybe 24, lives with his mom, but he's providing everything for you 100%. He just doesn't live alone, but he has a car and so on. I don't see anything wrong with that. Go enjoy your life and go do whatever you gotta do, especially if you're saying that he's a good guy. But don't be ready to, jump and get married to him. Make sure that this guy actually comes with like good credit and everything, but enjoy your life, basically is what I'm saying. Like, don't sit there suffering, constantly having to like find some 40-year-old man that can provide you 100%. Enjoy your life. Again, this applies to the people, and it depends on your age and where you are in life, because if you're older and you're much more busy, then you don't have time for these kind of men. But if you're younger and you do have time, I don't see anything wrong with that. The more options, the easier it is on you, because you're not there waiting for some guy that has everything 100%, because that as well takes time to find. Rule number 20 is get an education, because no man can take that from you, and it really depends. I know women who are successful even without an education, but have your own bank account. Don't date men with, bad credit. Plan your exit once a man has broken your trust. Look, sadly, we're human beings, and sometimes we miss the red flags that we should have seen before, getting with that man. Always make sure that you have your own back in case anything goes left. Sadly, people change and life is full of obstacles. If we need to leave a situation, we should never be stuck and dependent on the man. Always make sure you can leave whenever you need to. Rule 21 is keep your eyes and your ears open, but keep your mouth and your legs closed. The more you keep your eyes and your ears open, the more he's going to start exposing himself. Not just through his actions, but through his words as well. Keeping your mouth and your legs closed will not only be able to basically keep you safe from exposing yourself, and keeping your legs closed, of course, is going to keep you safe from having some messed up children from this guy. Listen, if he really wants you, all his actions will show it. This is the perfect way to not only be able to see his true colors, but to also test him and see how he becomes when he doesn't get what he wants out of you. Rule 22 is what you allow, they're going to continue to do. And look, as soon as you notice certain traits, behaviors that you don't like, you have to point it out from the start. And of course, it depends. Of course, there's certain things that are a lot more serious. And if it's extremely serious and you're like, I don't think this is right at all, then leave him. But if it's not that bad to that point, you should point it out right away and see if they make that change. If you allow him to basically talk about you and others without mentioning anything or saying anything, he'll continue to do so. If you allow him to leave the toilet seat up, he'll continue to do so. Don't be all of a sudden coming up to him 5 years later screaming about how much it frustrates you. Little problems should be mentioned as soon as possible before they become a habit. Rule number 23 is when you date one man at a time, you're blinded by lust. This is why you date multiple people, because the one that's the best will just stand out and it's hard to miss. When you date one man, you won't know what else is out there. So even when he comes with these crazy imperfections, you put yourself in a place where you force yourself to put up with it and deal with it. Because you have no one to compare him to. You basically make yourself believe that this is as good as it gets, that you won't find better. Also, he'll be super comfortable around you because when we have only one man, all of our emotional baggage is basically thrown onto him. And he knows this. There's no competition. I'm not saying to tell your man that you're dating multiple men, but they need to feel like you are without knowing the truth. This is why when he F's up, at least you can easily leave him and go to the other men that you have on the side. You should have multiple men lining up so that you can throw a little bit of emotional baggage at each one and not just a whole emotional baggage at one person. Rule 24, the way he talks about his family tells you the type of person that he is. First off, whoever raised us has a lot to do with who we become as adults. Listen carefully to how he speaks about his mom. Because first off, chances are high that he's going to expect you to be like her. And if he talks bad about the person who raised him and is the reason that he's alive, imagine how he's going to talk about you. You didn't even do the things that his mom did for him. So if he's able to talk badly about her, trust me, you're going to go through that, but 10 times worse. Listen carefully. If he talks bad about his family, it says a lot about the type of person he is and the type of person he's going to be. Rule number 25 is don't tell your man your deepest secrets or anything that makes you vulnerable. Because when things go left, they will use it against you. And I don't care how innocent he looks. It will happen. I know that a lot of therapists on Instagram will be like, for you to heal, you need to talk about you need to communicate and you need to, talk about your traumas and your secrets. And that's what's going to make you grow. But listen, you never know what a person is capable of. He might be the shining armor right now. But when you two get into an argument, all of a sudden he uses all the insecurities against you. Or you end up leaving him and now he's telling everyone your deepest secrets. Never ever open up about these things with a man. Go see a professional therapist that can actually properly help you on working on those insecurities or problems or secrets. You need someone who's professional. A man isn't going to help you and it will only make things worse. Rule 26 is don't start liking a man until he's fully in love with you. A man is supposed to love you way more than you love him. You can get him to this stage by basically making him put a lot of effort, making him do a lot of things for you, making him basically invest his money, time, and energy on you. A man will only realize how much he loves you when you make him do things for you through actions. Rule number 27, when a man says he's not ready for a relationship, he means with you. No man in this world is not ready for a relationship. Relationships are the best thing invented for men and they're the easiest thing invented for men. Because to get into it, listen, relationships, they come with no consequences. You don't have to sign any contract. If he leaves you, cheats on you, lies, or abuses you, nothing happens to him. Therefore, yes, if he doesn't want a relationship, he means with you. This is why he rejected you and then went and basically got into a relationship with another girl within weeks. If this happened to you, take the L, save the embarrassment, and never allow this guy to have access to you again. Rule number 28 is always remain a challenge, even when you're dating, even when you're married. Never get comfortable. Like I've said before, you never know when he's going to leave, act up, or do something serious that you need to start replacing him with someone else. Most women get way too comfortable when they're in a relationship or when they're married, and it should never be you. Let the women around you get fat and downgrade, but this should never be you. Make sure to always look good, so men are lining up, and your man knows that he can easily be replaced. Your man should always know that you're a challenge. There's no comfort when it comes to you. If he wants to keep you, he needs to do as you want him to do. Otherwise, he's going to be replaced. Always make sure that you're keeping yourself up, no matter what. Rule number 29 is if he looks as good as you or even better than you effed up. Girl, where have you been and how did you even get yourself to this position? There's no such thing as a guy looking good equally, or even have him looking better than you. If he looks better than you, it's a trap. There's something that he's using you for. And if he looks good equally, you messed up. The spotlight is on you when it comes to looks. The spotlight is on him when it comes to success. You need to have the difference to feel the need to have each other. Always make sure the man you're with looks like Shrek next to you, so that he remembers and invests in what he has. Rule number 30, everything he's not doing for you, he will be doing it for another girl. And ladies, this happened to me years and years and years and years ago with an ex, where I was getting spoiled like crazy from the beginning, and then eventually he got comfortable. I obviously left because I was like, okay, nothing is happening and this is a repeated cycle. I don't want to beg for what I want. After him chasing me for like a while, I continued to say no because I was like, nope, I'll go back to him and the same thing is going to happen. Eventually we ended up meeting up again, and then I remember him telling me how he was like, oh, remember when you wanted me to do this and this and that? After you left me, I learned my lesson and I made sure that I did it with the next girl that I was with. So this could be one of the situations. Situation number 2, he doesn't think you're worth whatever it is that you're asking for. So when a girl comes into his life who maybe looks better than you, who maybe acts better than you, who maybe shows more appreciation than you, and in general has what he wants, all of a sudden he'll start giving her whatever it is that you wanted. So there's a few scenarios on why this happens, but this is just a fact. If you feel that you deserve to get that and you're not getting it, simply just go and get it. Like, don't be begging there on your knees, telling him, why don't you see my worth? Why don't you do this for me? It's better to just leave and get it. You know what I mean? Like, that's the best advice I can give. I also strongly suggest that a lot of you listen to my other video, which I think I'm going to add at the end of the screen. And it's basically use men to make life easier for you, because that also has a lot to do with this topic. And yeah, so anyways, ladies, thank you so much for listening. If there's anything else that you want me to add on, fix, definitely let me know. And yeah, this was basically a part 2. I might even do a part 3 if you guys want, because I still have so many more quotes that I've received from you guys when you answered my story. But that's it for now. Thank you all for listening, and yeah, love you all.